Okay, so let's assume that you gave birth to a boy child, and the boy child immediately at birth, it tells you, I am not a boy child, I'm a girl. Well, it will surprise you, I guess. And it begins to tell you that, well, I want myself to be called Gerald, I want myself to be called Jeremiah instantly. So the child picks his name his name at birth. Pick the food you have to give him, begin to make decision about his clothing, begin to make decision about where you must lay him, begin to make a decision about the kind of things he's got to do, because this is what the gender identity ideologies are pushing. And this is simply not true. What's gender identity is more of a personal sense of one's own gender. That's to mean that there are some people that do not align with their sex at birth. Well, it is called assigned sex, and that's crazy. Please, sex is not assigned at birth. Sex is created, it's formed at fertilization, at conception, but it's recognized at birth and maybe before birth through medical scan and all of that. Sex is not assigned at birth. It's formed, created at conception. Because you see, this is corruption of language. And when language is corrupted, you give room for certain things to rise out of that language corruption. The recognition of the fact that sex is created, the female comes from the XY chromosome, the female comes from the XX chromosome and the male comes from the XY chromosome. And that naturally frame the female gender and the male gender respectively. So you cannot say that sex is assigned, sex is created, sex is formed at birth. You see, that's this corruption of language. Sex is assigned at birth as deluded. In fact, it's the highest level of deception, because it has corrupted a lot of children into thinking that, well, their sexes were assigned, and as such, they have the prerogative to choose the sex in which they have proclivity towards. And that is the confusion we are having today. I am not saying that people don't feel different from their alliance, don't feel different from their sexes. In fact, there are people that don't align with their sex. I agree with you, and they have proclivity towards another gender rather than their gender that was created, rather than their gender whose sex was created at birth. They will feel something else. But I think, I am not a medical expert, but the view that this condition can only be handled by social and medical intervention, and that this social and medical intervention is the only evidence-based treatment for gender dysphoria, is a lie. It's not true by any standard. I do not think it to be true. And the worst thing about it is that the proponents and the social crusaders of these gender ideologies, they bully the government into accepting these lies. They bully stakeholders into accepting that, well, if you don't accept this right, you are denying the rights of those children. That is not true. It's surprising. So let's look at this question. Do the girl children really want do they want to grow beard? I don't agree. Do the girl children want their breast removed? No, I don't agree. Do the girl children want their vagina closed so that the penis can be implanted? I do not agree. Do the girl child want her voice lowered so that she can speak like a man? That is also not true. What of the boys? Do the boys want to grow breasts? No. Do they want their penis cut off so that they can they could be opening in their crotch for the vagina? No. Do the boy child want the pitch of his voice increased? No. Well, it could be true for the tiniest subset of human living, but in such a condition, psychotherapy should be the recommended treatment for gender dysphoria, and not social intervention and medical experiments. According to I think Miriam Grossman, and I would like to quote her. She said clearly that, well, psychotherapy is the best treatment for gender dysphoria, rather than the medical experiments that is being proposed by the gender ideologists. Psychotherapy should be a way making a child feel okay in the body is carrying, rather than a child feeling that his body is a mistake, or a child being dissociated with his body and being associated with a gender different from his sex. I mean, this is crazy. And it's called the gender affirming care. So if you say that your gender is a male when you're a female, you go to the hospital and they need to affirm that care. I mean, gender affirming care is like unquestioning of a child's chosen identity, even when this is chosen identity contradicts reality. We don't want that in the society of today. There is already enough chaos, and we don't want to plunge ourselves into further chaos.